Okay, so now that we've talked about both bonds that form between elements and the different shapes that can exist when we form a molecule of something, now we want to look just one step further and see what happens when molecules interact with other molecules. So the title of this note is called Intermolecular Forces. And before we move on, I just want to define two root words that you're going to see periodically throughout the course. In fact, whenever you see them, they're always going to mean the same thing, which is why I just want to define them here. And the first one is intra. So intra means within. So if we were talking about intramolecular forces, these would be things like your ionic and covalent bonds. So the bonds that form within molecules. So an example for these, ionic and covalent are the only two we talked about. What this note is about is not the forces that form an actual molecule, but between molecules. So now we've got molecules interacting with one another. So inter always means between. And you're actually going to see these two prefixes attached to many different words, and they're always going to mean the same thing. So that's a key thing to remember. So there's two we're going to look at. The first is a hydrogen bond. So if we go back to our example of water, a hydrogen bond is an attraction between a partial positive hydrogen atom of one molecule with a partial negative atom of another molecule. So if we think of a bunch of water molecules surrounding each other, remember that from this distribution, the angular distribution, if we were to draw a straight line through this molecule, like say like this, this side is partially positive, this side is partially negative. So when a bunch of these start to interact with each other, they will orient themselves so that the partial negative side is attracted to the partial positives of other water molecules. So that's what a hydrogen bond is. The second type is called van der Waals forces. This is an attractive force between partial positive and negative ends of molecules. So this can exist around a nonpolar molecule. So really, if it's not a hydrogen bond, all the other forces that we're going to deal with in this class are going to be called the van der Waals forces. So in this case, you still have it's a weaker force, and you would still have attractive forces between molecules. So this would be like a weak attraction between all other molecules. If you've taken chemistry, you're going to learn that there's actually different types of van der Waals forces. We're not going to get into that. The two that all you need to know is the difference between a hydrogen bond versus a van der Waals forces. And if it's not a hydrogen bond, it falls under this category. And that's basically all you need to know.